His body was pressed against mine, our breaths tangled in the dim light, and I could feel him deeper than I had ever felt any man before. Every nerve in my body screamed for me to stop, yet my lips moved, and I said the one thing that would destroy everything. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to thank you for being here. Your time means everything to me, and I appreciate each and every person who listens to these stories. If you are new, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Trust me, you will want to stay until the very end of this one. The night it started was nothing like the perfect wife I had trained myself to be. I was 33, married to Daniel for 8 years, and for most of that time, I believed we were happy. We had a nice house in suburban Texas, a quiet street, and friends who toasted to our perfect marriage at every barbecue. I had no reason to doubt him, until I found the hotel receipts. They were folded neatly in the pocket of his blue button-up shirt, the one he never let me take to the cleaners. 2 nights at the Magnolia Inn. 1 paid in cash, 1 billed to his card. Both for midweek stays when he had claimed to be working late. I did not confront him right away. I wanted to see him lie to my face first. That is something only a betrayed woman can understand, the sick need to hear the denial, to watch the little flinch in his eyes when the truth claws at his throat. Instead of screaming, I played the perfect wife even harder. I cooked his favorite meals. I laughed at his tired jokes. I kissed him goodnight, even when the smell of strange perfume lingered faintly on his collar. I told myself I was gathering strength, but the truth was, I was building a trap. And that trap came in the form of Eric. Eric was Daniel's business partner. He was taller, broader, and had eyes that scanned me like he already knew my secrets. I had met him countless times before, always as the polite, respectful man who shook my hand and kept a professional smile. But after the hotel receipts, I saw him differently. Or maybe, I let myself. One Friday evening, Daniel called to say he would be working late again. I told him I understood, my voice dripping with the sweetness of a woman who had just decided to destroy her husband. Within 10 minutes, I had texted Eric. "Can you stop by? I need to talk about Daniel. Urgent." He arrived in less than 20 minutes. I opened the door wearing a silk robe and nothing underneath. The look in his eyes told me he understood that whatever urgent thing I had to say had nothing to do with business. We sat in the living room. I poured him a drink, my hand brushing his as I passed him the glass. My heart pounded, not from fear, but from the dangerous rush of knowing exactly what I was doing. "I think Daniel is cheating on me," I said, my voice steady. Eric's jaw tightened. "I know," he replied without hesitation. That stopped me cold. "You know?" He nodded, his eyes never leaving mine. "I have seen things. I never told you because it was not my place. But he has been with someone from the office for months." Something inside me twisted. I wanted to cry, but the tears refused to come. Instead, a different fire burned in my chest. The fire that wanted him to pay. Eric reached out, his hand covering mine. "You do not deserve this." The warmth of his palm traveled up my arm, into my spine, until it reached the part of me that was starved for touch. The part Daniel had neglected while giving himself to someone else. I leaned closer. "Then show me what I deserve." It happened quickly after that. His lips were on mine, strong and unyielding. The drink spilled onto the carpet, forgotten. We moved to the couch, and when his robe slipped from my shoulders, there was no turning back. Every kiss felt like a weapon. Every gasp was a bullet aimed at my husband's pride. I wanted Daniel to feel this without even knowing it, to sense it in the way a man senses the air has shifted against him. Eric was deep inside me before I even realized I had crossed the point of no return. My nails raked down his back. His breath was hot in my ear. He was too deep already, but I still said more. "Do not stop," I whispered. "Make me forget him." He did. For hours, he made me forget. When it was over, I lay in Eric's arms, my mind racing. This was not just revenge. This was an entirely new hunger that had nothing to do with Daniel and everything to do with me. Eric looked down at me. What happens now? I smiled a slow, dangerous smile. Now, we wait. And when the time is right, I will make sure Daniel finds out exactly how deep this went. I thought that would be the end of it, that Eric would be my secret, my little rebellion. But I underestimated how quickly a man like him could become more than a weapon. I underestimated how far I was willing to go. Because 2 weeks later, Daniel walked through the door holding a bouquet of roses, and Eric followed right behind him. The sight of them together made my stomach twist. Daniel was smiling like he had no idea. Eric was watching me like he knew every thought in my head. And in that moment, I realized the game had just changed. Daniel's roses were bright red, their petals almost mocking me with their perfection. He handed them to me with the proud grin of a man who believed himself romantic, while Eric lingered just a step behind him, silent, but with that unreadable gaze that pinned me to the floor. I forced a smile. What is the occasion? Daniel kissed my cheek. Just because. Just because. The same man who had been spending nights in a hotel with another woman now brought me flowers just because. I almost laughed. But the laughter would have been sharp enough to cut through both of them, and I was not ready to draw blood, not yet. Eric stepped forward, his voice low and casual. Daniel invited me over for dinner. I hope that is okay. Okay? It was far from okay. It was dangerous. The air between us had shifted from the moment I opened that door 2 weeks ago. The memory of his body against mine flashed behind my eyes, and the ache it left behind was still there, deep in my bones. I swallowed hard. Of course. You are always welcome. We sat down for dinner, the three of us, and the tension was so thick I could taste it in the air. Daniel talked about work, about a new contract, about the long nights ahead. Every time he said those words, Eric's eyes flicked toward mine, and I had to fight the urge to smirk. Daniel's phone buzzed twice during the meal. Each time, he excused himself to answer it in the hallway. The second time, I heard his voice drop to a tone that was too soft, too careful, the voice of a man speaking to someone he was not supposed to be speaking to. When he returned, Eric leaned back in his chair and said, "You know, Daniel, I have been meaning to talk to you about loyalty." Daniel frowned. Loyalty? Yes, Eric said smoothly. In business, it is everything. Without it, partnerships fall apart. And in personal life, well, it is even more important. I saw Daniel's jaw twitch. He looked at me for a fraction of a second before forcing a chuckle. Is this a speech, or are you trying to tell me something? Eric's smile was slow. Maybe both. The rest of the dinner passed like that, words layered with double meanings, glances traded like secret weapons. I was quiet, letting them circle each other, knowing this was only the opening act. After dinner, Daniel received yet another, urgent call and stepped outside. The moment the door clicked shut, Eric stood and moved toward me. His hand brushed mine, deliberate, slow. You are playing with fire, I whispered. His mouth was close to my ear now. So are you. My pulse was a drumbeat in my throat. Why are you here, Eric? Why tonight? Because I want to see how far you will go, he said. And because I am done watching him treat you like a fool. The door opened before I could answer. Daniel walked back in, irritation on his face. I have to go into the office. Something came up. It was almost too perfect. Eric looked at him, then at me. I will keep her company. Daniel gave a quick nod, grabbed his jacket, and was gone. The second the door shut, the silence between Eric and me exploded. He stepped forward, caging me against the wall, his breath hot against my neck. Do you know what it does to me, sitting across from you and pretending nothing happened? He said. I gripped his shirt, my voice barely a whisper. Then do not pretend. It was reckless. It was insane. But the thrill of it, of knowing my husband could walk back in at any moment, made it impossible to stop. Eric kissed me hard, and I let him. Every sound, every gasp, every brush of his hands was an act of war. My fingers tangled in his hair, my back hit the wall, and I could taste danger on his lips. But then he pulled back, his eyes dark. He is not the only one who can be exposed. I froze. What do you mean? You think I am just here for you? No. I have my own reasons. And when the time comes, I will use everything we have done, against him, against you, against anyone who stands in my way. The words landed like a slap. For the first time, I realized Eric was not just a partner in my revenge. He was a man with his own game, and I might have just become one of his pawns. Daniel's car pulled into the driveway, headlights sweeping across the living room. Eric stepped back, his expression instantly smooth, like nothing had happened. As Daniel walked in, Eric clapped him on the shoulder. Thanks for dinner, man. We will talk soon. He left without looking at me. That night, lying beside my husband, I could not stop thinking about Eric's warning. I had started this to destroy Daniel. But now, I was trapped between two men who both had the power to destroy me. Alright, here comes the final chapter of He Was Too Deep Already. But I still said more, the explosive climax where all the secrets detonate and the revenge takes an unexpected turn. Chapter 3, When It All Blows Up. The days after that dinner felt like walking on a knife's edge. Daniel grew more distant, his phone constantly in his hand, his eyes avoiding mine during breakfast. Eric, on the other hand, had gone completely silent. No texts. No calls. Just an occasional, infuriating appearance in my thoughts, the taste of him, the way his voice had dripped with warning. I told myself I would not reach out first. But by the fourth day, the tension was eating me alive. I typed a single message. Me, what do you want from me? His reply came seconds later. Eric, meet me tomorrow. 8 p.m. Magnolia Inn. Room 214. The same hotel Daniel had taken his mistress to. When I arrived, Eric was already there, leaning against the window with a whiskey in his hand. His tie was loose, his eyes sharper than I remembered. You came, he said. I need answers, I told him. He smirked. And I need leverage. I hated that word. Leverage for what? To take him down. To take everything from him. And I want you to help me do it. My pulse spiked. Why me? Because you are the one thing he will never see coming. And because you have already given me something worth more than gold. I realized then, he was talking about us. About what we had done. The plan came out in jagged pieces between stolen kisses and dangerous truths. Eric had been building a case against Daniel for months, embezzlement, fraud, deals made under the table. He wanted me to play the loyal wife until the right moment, then deliver the final blow by testifying against him. And if I say no? I asked. He leaned in close, his lips brushing my ear. Then the recordings of you begging me to make you forget him, go straight to his inbox. It was not a threat. It was a promise. I should have felt trapped. Instead, something in me shifted. If Daniel could betray me so easily, and Eric could manipulate me so smoothly, then maybe I was not the pawn after all. Maybe I could be the one holding all the cards. The next evening, I told Daniel I knew everything, the hotels, the woman from the office, the lies. His face went pale. Who told you that? I let my eyes burn into his. Does it matter? He started to deny it, but I cut him off. Save it. Because tomorrow morning, the police will have all the evidence they need, about your business. His head snapped up. What are you talking about? I smiled coldly. Ask Eric. The color drained from his face completely. Eric? Yes, I said. He has been using both of us. But the difference is, I am not letting him win. The next morning, Eric arrived at Daniel's office expecting to celebrate their takedown of each other. Instead, he found the police waiting. Both of them were arrested, Daniel for fraud, Eric for blackmail and extortion. And me? I sat in my car across the street, watching them get shoved into separate cruisers, my hands steady on the wheel. As they drove away, I finally breathed. I had started this out of revenge, dipped into lust, and nearly drowned in someone else's game. But in the end, I had turned their weapons on each other, and walked away clean. Or so I thought. A week later, a plain brown envelope arrived at my door. Inside was a single flash drive, and a note in Eric's handwriting. You won the first round. But I am still too deep inside you to ever let you go. If you felt that rush in your chest reading this, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, was she justified, or did she go too far? Your thoughts keep these stories alive, and I cannot wait to hear what you think.